What's up? Your boy Domuto. We back with another video. Today we're watching What If Frieza Raised Kakarot Part 13 and 14 today, right? So we got two parts, and then the next one what I post will be the finale of this story. So yeah, so today we're watching 13 and 14. If you watched my last reaction, I probably fell asleep during the end. But I went to go rewatch it, so I saw that Vegeta turned was affected by baby, the baby arc and stuff. So we don't get in.
Mayris is confused.
Make sure y'all make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Though. I ain't gonna fall asleep this
What's
time.
going on? Is Vegeta possessed or something? As well as Raditz and Nappa? They have no idea. It's something to do with Tuffles. There was a Tuffle survivor, it seems, and he was able to get revenge somehow by possessing Vegeta and Nappa and Raditz. Mayris contemplates helping. This seems like a big deal. But the universe isn't fully at stake, at least not yet, and he doesn't think risking his life is really worth that. Broly and Kakarot should be able to do this on their own, but he can at least provide some help. Kakarot and Broly are already leaving Earth. They've headed out into space and are trying to get as far away as possible, going outside of the solar system even. And Mayris tells them a good place to go. As they travel outside of the solar system, they find a planet surrounded by moons, and all of these have atmospheres. This would be a suitable place for them to meet this mutant. At least there they can breathe and no one would be in danger. Broly tells Kakarot they need to be careful as well. He knows Kakarot's mind is set on defeating them, but there's two issues they're facing. For one, it's not like they could just kill this enemy. He's in the body of Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz. It's going to be a lot tougher than they think. Also, they have to avoid getting possessed themselves. They are the strongest of the Saiyans after all. If they get possessed, who knows what will happen next? That's right, Kakarot didn't even consider that. They need to figure out how this was possible so they know how to avoid it. And Mayris gives some tips. He says that in the drone footage that he saw, it looks like the parasite that took over Vegeta was trying to enter through a cut or something. They can't let that thing anywhere near them, especially if they get cut somehow. Well, at least they have some sort of idea now. They start approaching the planet, getting ready for descent, but just as soon as they're about to land on it, they see a bright flash of light. The ship begins shaking violently, and is thrown off the course. Kakarot looks out the window one more time and sees the planet exploded. Luckily, they're able to land on one of the many moons nearby. But these moons will be thrown out of orbit pretty soon. But this is an emergency. They need to land. Clearly, they're under attack and babies nearby. And just as they expected, another ship lands on the same moon. Off of it steps Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz, with Vegeta looking much different than the others, being the main person controlled by Baby. Baby laughs. He's surprised that they made it away from that blast. He was hoping to kill them in the process, but they've just prolonged their deaths by surviving it. Kakarot asks who he is. He wants an explanation, and Baby says if they're gonna die, well, they might as well get an explanation for it. He tells them all about who he is, why he's here, and what's going on. This is the revenge of the Tuffles right here. This is how they're gonna get revenge on the Saiyans. They already got 3 of them, and there's only 2 left. Well, 7 if you count Paragus and Tarble. But that's besides the point. The Saiyans destroyed his people, and now he's gonna return the favor. And it's kinda ironic in a way. He's using the prince's body. The son of the Saiyans' rulers is gonna be the one that's gonna kill them. It's almost poetic in a way. Too bad he's gonna have to destroy this body afterwards too. Kakarot even tries to reason. These Saiyans aren't the ones responsible for it. Kakarot didn't even know about the Tuffles until recently. Same for Broly. And even though the Saiyans may have been genocidal warriors in the past, they're not anymore. These ones are freedom fighters, if anything. Just look at the symbol on their armor. They work for the Galactic Patrol. They're helping people. But Baby says he doesn't care. And clearly, he's not going to be someone that can be reasoned with. He just tells Kakarot to shut up. It's time for him to die. Baby Vegeta launches over towards Kakarot. And right away, he tries to launch a portion of himself out, hoping to possess Broly and Kakarot. But they're smart enough to avoid it. And Baby chuckles. He should have expected that they would have known by now. But who cares if he has to do this the hard way? Raditz and Nappa gang up on Broly, while Baby Vegeta faces Kakarot alone. He powers up and begins morphing. But the great thing is right now, Baby has a ton of energy with the 2 Saiyans next to him. With Vegeta under his control and Raditz and Nappa by his side, he's actually able to transform. And not just into Super Baby 1, he goes right into Super Baby 2. This power amazes Kakarot. But luckily, he still might have the upper hand. Broly's still not fighting at full power yet. And the same goes for Kakarot. He jumps into Super Saiyan God. This should end the fight quickly. Baby's surprised at first, not knowing what this is. But as a part of Vegeta, he's able to see what Vegeta does know. And also, since Vegeta does have some training with Beerus and Whis, he does have limited access to God Ki and knows how to sense it. He could sense Kakarot's amazing power. It's a shame that he sees no way to actually possess Kakarot for himself, but he's still confident in his own abilities. Meanwhile, Broly continues fighting Raditz and Nappa. This is actually very easy for him. He just wants to finish this fight as quick as possible so he can help Kakarot. And at first, he was worried about losing control, but
hey, low key, what was the best arc in GT? Was it the baby arc? The baby arc? This one wasn't that Super 17 arc. That shit was ass. It might be the baby arc since you get Super Saiyan 4. Yeah, you get Super Saiyan 4 in that arc. And then the Tuffles, yeah, there was a lot going on in that arc. I like that arc. I think that probably was the best GT arc. Even though GT in the whole was mid as hell, but I mean the Shenron arc was cool too. Damn, I don't know. Let me know. I might do it like a poll. Best GT
But with
arc.
all the great training he's done, especially on Earth, he feels confident now. His power, he might actually have a grasp on it. He could use it without going berserk. And he tries to do so. Not just wrathful, but he goes into Super Saiyan. Of course, he has controlled his power before. But even with that control, he was scared of outbursts. But now he's fully lucid. And once he's transformed, the possessed Raditz and Nappa are no issue for him at all. Just as quickly as Broly transformed, he's able to defeat both of them, knocking the two unconscious. In one last attempt to fight Broly, Baby jumps out of their bodies, trying to possess him. But with one blast in each hand, Broly eradicates these extensions of Baby. It's a shame that Raditz and Nappa can't help though. They're too badly beaten and they're clearly going to be unconscious for a bit of time. But Broly will make sure they at least stay safe while they're resting. Baby's having a really tough time right now. Super Saiyan God might actually be too much for him to counter. Was he in over his head? Is he actually going to lose this quickly? Even though these thoughts run through Baby's mind, he doesn't care. He continues fighting, trying to get ahead and find a way to win somehow. But his chances of winning keep lowering and lowering. Kakarot is so strong, and eventually Broly even joins the fight too. There's no way he's gonna win this. He went through all this to steal Vegeta's body, to steal the other bodies too. He even achieved this powerful form, and all of that's for nothing. He's going to lose. He tries to summon more and more power, but nothing's working. Broly and Kakarot are about to win. They have Baby on the ropes. Baby's getting desperate. He throws a punch, and something's weird about this one. It hits Kakarot, and as Kakarot guards it, he's flung back. Like, way back. He's thrown right out of the moon's atmosphere. Briefly, he's in space, but is then sucked into the orbit of another moon. He lands, a little bit terrified. Not only did he just almost die out in space, but something about that last attack was wrong. It was so powerful, and for a brief second he saw something. A red aura surrounded Baby's fist. And the power he felt from it, it was the power of a god. Broly rockets over to this other moon, arriving there in a split second, making sure Kakarot's alright. Yeah, he wasn't out in space for too long, but he's mainly confused at what he just saw, and even Baby's just as lost. He looks down at his fist, and then smirks. He sees what's happening. It seems he does have one last reserve of power that he wasn't paying attention to. From this other moon, Kakarot and Broly watch, waiting for Vegeta to follow them. Thankfully, Broly put Raditz and Nappa back on their ship, putting it on autopilot towards the Galactic Patrol. At least they don't have to worry about those two anymore.
Right.
But what's Baby doing? Why is he waiting to attack? And then they see what's going on. The moon they were just on suddenly glows red. A pillar of fire explodes out from the top of it, or something that looks like fire. Wait, it's an aura. That's Baby's aura. Kakarot's eyes widen. There's no way. That power that he senses, they're doomed. Baby must have acted as a catalyst for Vegeta. Vegeta was already on the verge of accessing Super Saiyan God, but with Baby now, he's usurped that power. Baby's transformed once more. Kakarot and Broly feel powerful.
Bullshit look like.
Something flew
Let me
past
see what
them.
it looked
The
like.
ground next to them is all burnt up. They turn around and see
I thought you were gonna make it
Baby's
look
standing
weird.
there,
Okay.
looking similar to how he did before, but also slightly different. Besides the obvious change in his aura, his hair's become slightly tinted. This power that he's accessed, it's divine, and he's absolutely loving it. What should he call this? Perhaps Super Baby God. Broly and Kakarot try fighting, and with the two of them together at their max power, they're able to do something at least. It's not like they can't hurt him at all. They can at least hold him back. But they're trying their hardest, and it seems Baby's still getting used to this power. Maybe he has even more that he doesn't even know about. The battle seems dead even at first, but as Baby gets a better grasp on this power, it starts shifting slightly in his favor. And he's growing. The more he fights, the more he gets access to his power. Kakarot didn't realize that Vegeta was this far along with his training, and with the advantage of being buffed by Baby, his power is just unfathomable right now. As they fight, the moon they're on shakes, and they're thrown from moon to moon to moon, jumping across them, trying to get some distance from Baby while they make a plan. Pieces of the exploding planet bombard moons nearby. It's like they're in hell. Everything's on fire, either from the planet or from Baby's aura. Broly has one thing that might work though, but he's not entirely sure. While he does have full control of Super Saiyan, there's still that full power form that he used before. He hasn't really tried this control with that yet, but Kakarot says they need to try anything right now. He knows it's risky, but he has confidence in Broly. Broly knows that if he goes berserk though, it's over. If that happens, he'll get sloppy, and Baby might be able to take control of him. But thanks to Kakarot's confidence, it's become contagious. Broly's confident too. The red light is overpowered by a green glow. Broly begins powering up. He bulks up a little bit more, his armor completely breaks, and his hair gains a greenish hue. And surprisingly, he's still completely lucid like before. He's using his full power. Kakarot's in pretty bad shape right now.
Broly.
Thankfully, Super Saiyan God does have some healing properties, but he's taken a bad beating from Baby. But now with Broly powered up, they're at least matching him, holding him back a bit. And Broly also grows while he's fighting too. He takes the fight for himself now, while Kakarot tries to catch his breath on the side. He can't let Broly fight alone. He feels so weak right now. There has to be something he could do. But everything seems so hopeless. Even with Broly powering up, Kakarot doesn't know what's going on. Can they actually win this? But Kakarot begins feeling something weird. He's getting reinvigorated somehow. It's a feeling within his chest, within his back. He feels energy collecting. Could this be from his emotions? Whatever this is, he wants to control it. He closes his eyes, tries calming down. As he sees green and red lights clash nearby, Kakarot drowns out all the noise, all of the sensory overload around him. He becomes completely calm. Clashing with the green and red light, one more flame joins in. Kakarot opens his eyes. Power explodes out of him. There's now a blue light. Kakarot's hair sticks up. It looks like he's in Super Saiyan, and it changes from red to blue. His aura changes as well, also becoming blue. He feels so much power, and then he realizes what happened. It hits him. This is the power of a Super Saiyan God, combined with that of a Super Saiyan. He doesn't know what this blue-haired form is, but he knows one thing. This is how he's going to finish the battle. Broly and Baby look over confused. Broly is left amazed, while Baby gets angry. That Saiyan has awakened his power too? Kakarot launches in with excessive speed.
Blue was introduced better in here than it was in Super.
Landing a direct punch right on Baby's face. He tells Broly he doesn't know what this power is, or how long it's going to last, if it will last, and that's why he wants to work quick. He thanks Broly for helping. He bought enough time for Goku to get his thoughts together, to access whatever this new power is. He just needs his help for a little bit more time. Together, they'll win this. They'll save Vegeta and kill Baby. The two shout, their auras merge, and they launch towards Baby with a flurry of punches. Baby tries countering everything, but nothing's working. Whenever he tries to charge an attack, nothing works. He's completely overwhelmed. He then goes on the defensive, trying to get as far away from them as possible, jumping from moon to moon once more like they were just doing. And as he jumps from each moon, he begins charging an attack, a revenge death ball. The power in this should be enough to kill them. This will finish it. And eventually he charges it enough, launching it right at Kakarot. But Kakarot's completely calm. He watches as the energy ball gets closer to him. Under his breath, he begins muttering something. This is the first time he's going to test this out in battle. In front of him, he cups his hands together, then drawing them back. The blue energy from his aura swirls around him with another energy. It's a move he picked up on Earth, and this will completely counter the attack. He shouts, Kamehameha, launching it right at the revenge death ball, completely eradicating it. It almost hits Baby as well, who jumps out of the way just in the nick of time. But as he jumps out of the way, he's met by another attack, a Kikoho from Broly. He's left on the ground, battered and beaten. And in one last attempt at victory, he jumps out of Vegeta's body, trying to grab hold of Kakarot. But Kakarot vanishes, moving too fast for Baby to even react. And within the blink of an eye, Baby feels as he's hit by one last powerful attack, launched directly into the core of the exploding plane. Kakarot powers down, going back into base. Broly collapses on the ground too. The two are injured, breathing heavily, and near them is a pretty injured Vegeta as well. They try and sense Baby, and Kakarot simply says it's over. They won. They actually did it. They sit calmly on the moon, watching as meteors from the planet bombard nearby. Kakarot picks up Vegeta, and the three of them make their way towards their ship. For a brief moment, Vegeta even wakes up, coughing, trying to say something. He only says one word, impressive, and he falls back unconscious as the three of them leave. While this may be the end of this arc, the story's still not over, not by a long shot. With how powerful all the Saiyans are, who could even stand in their way next? Perhaps an enemy from their past, maybe an allegiance of enemies from their past. In a completely separate realm, a realm where the dead reside, a storm is brewing, and no one knows about it. A fight breaks loose in hell. It's a massive brawl, and one person is at the center of it. It's Cooler. He hates all these people living in hell with him, but it doesn't matter. He's the strongest here, and he fends off all of them, asserting dominance without even going into his final form. He hears someone land nearby, expecting another fighter, but the energy feels familiar. He turns around. It's a familiar face. He chuckles at the sight of his brother. It's Frieza. What? Is Frieza gonna try and fight him too? Well, not actually. Frieza has a proposition for his brother. It might be in their best interest to make an allegiance. Cooler doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Why would he team up with Frieza? And what would they team up for? What, all those people attacking him? Cooler clearly handled them all pretty easily. And Frieza says it's not about that. It's a common problem that they both share. Those Saiyans. Of course, the two brothers did have their spat. And they still do hate each other. King Cold steps up too. He tells Cooler that it might be in his best interest to listen. It would be great if his two sons stopped fighting each other and fought someone else for a change. It's those Saiyans, the ones responsible for killing all of them. That bastard child that Frieza raised. That prince, Vegeta. And those other two pesky traitors, Nappa and Raditz. They need to die. They need to be brought here to hell with them. But Cooler says that's impossible. They're dead, completely separated from the Saiyans. Whatever stupid plan Frieza has in mind won't work. But Frieza tells his brother once more.
It might work.
If he weren't confident in this plan, he wouldn't be telling his brother. Much less trying to team up with him after all that happened. And Cooler goes silent for a bit. He's right. He doesn't think this is some sort of trick either. Frieza and Cold seem dead serious. They are literally dead serious. Reluctantly, he listens to what his brother has to say. And this is where we'll leave off from that in this video. Reluctantly, Cooler has decided to join Frieza. He still hates Frieza, don't get that wrong. But they do have a common enemy, the Saiyans. They both want revenge against them. With Cooler, King Cold, and Frieza all teamed up, they begin plotting. Of course, it would be kinda hard to get their revenge while stuck in hell. And that's Frieza's whole plan. They need to leave hell somehow. Leave hell? That's preposterous. Cooler doesn't know what he's talking about. That sounds impossible, and kinda stupid too. If that even were possible, wouldn't that have some dire consequences? Frieza says it is possible, and he doesn't really care about the consequences. What matters is them getting their revenge, asserting dominance over everyone. Even if they're dead, that doesn't mean they have no other options. So Cooler asks, what exactly is he planning? Well, for that, Frieza's gonna need to introduce Cooler to someone. He assumes Cooler's heard of Majin Buu before. Wait, they got the help of Majin Buu? Well, no, not exactly. But Frieza did meet the person that was trying to revive Buu, someone related to the person that actually did create him. It's Babidi. Even though Babidi died in a completely different part of the universe and wasn't even connected to Frieza and Cooler at all, he does have a similar goal. The Saiyans are partially responsible for his defeat, as well as preventing Buu's revival. Yeah, that's great, but Cooler doesn't know how this guy's supposed to help him. Babidi seems quite weak, but that's where he's wrong. Babidi is weak physically, but in terms of magical abilities, he has so much to offer. Babidi has an idea in mind. He wants to create a weapon. That'll help him escape hell somehow. And this isn't going to be like Majin Buu. This is going to be a much better weapon. Something much stronger, much more deadly, much more focused. And the best part is, it's going to be a much more feasible weapon, one that they can actually create. And Cooler is intrigued by this idea, but he's still skeptical. He asks Babidi, how does he know that this won't backfire? And to be honest, Babidi says he doesn't know, but there is a really good shot at it working, and it is their only shot out of here. What, do they want to be stuck here forever? Do they not at least want to attempt something? Even if it doesn't work, or even if it backfires, they at least want to be sure that they're stuck here instead of waiting around doing nothing. What they need is energy, and there's plenty of that in hell, but they also need souls. Babidi's idea is to channel all these souls and all this energy into a vessel that'll become a weapon. This weapon will be a servant to them, as well as being strong enough to break them out of hell, breaking the barrier between hell and the living world. Of course, there are risks involved. Doing something like that would have some major consequences, but he trusts that Cooler and Frieza are strong enough to handle themselves in those circumstances, and they still get what they want. They're going to be able to leave hell and get their revenge, as well as King Cold too. Although, this weapon is going to be sentient, and they need to make sure that it's kept under control. Not to mention, they're going to need more strength to gather power in general. So, for those reasons, it would be a good idea if they started training. Frieza and Cooler absolutely abhor the idea of this. But it seems like it's necessary, and hey, once they get back to the living world, who knows how strong the Saiyans are? They'll want to be prepared. And they know that Frieza has some huge potential as a mutant. Cooler might not have the same amount of potential, but he can still probably grow strong really quickly. And who knows, maybe once Cooler's back in the living world, he can harness the power of the big Getty Star again, sending a glare over to Frieza who he partially blames for destroying it. Cold told them to stop bickering. They all have a common goal after all. They need to put all that aside. Just train for a bit and gather this power. Fine. For a few months, they begin their training. They both get bored of it pretty quickly, but they see some great gains, and because they are dead, they don't have to worry about energy either. They can just keep going and going. Although they do have to be very careful. If they die while they're already dead, well, they're gone forever. There's no shot at coming back to the living world. They'll be completely erased for good. And they need to keep this in mind for later too. While Cooler has his final form, Frieza actually discovers a brand new power, something completely different from that. He creates an evolution of himself, making it golden. He feels it's a fitting color, and Cooler is eventually able to do the same. This is what they call their golden form. A pretty simple name, but it obviously gets the point across. They begin their conquest of hell as well. The great thing is, it's not too hard to gather souls. First of all, there's a lot of strong people in hell, which means a lot of power to be collected. But more importantly, these people aren't strong enough to actually face Cooler and Frieza. They're defeated pretty easily, and their power is still more than enough to give Babidi some energy. And it's not like people are going to care if they go around hell killing people. Of course, there are people fighting for self-preservation, but outside of that, everyone here is here for a reason. People going around fighting others is pretty normal here, and no one really bats an eye. And it doesn't take too long for them to gather the energy and the souls that they need. Of course, Babidi's plan isn't still fully realized. He has something really great in mind. But he actually does have the ability right now to open up a portal out of hell. He tells Frieza and Cooler that they should wait. They need to wait for this weapon to be done, then that'll assure their victory.
Okay.
But they can't wait. They want to go right now. And even though Babidi keeps suggesting this, he eventually gives in, opening the portal for them, letting them do their own thing. And this might actually work out better for Babidi. Who cares if those two die up there? They're gonna gather so much energy by fighting those Saiyans that it'll really help them down here. This weapon will be so great. It'll be so much better than Majin Buu even. We'll refer to this as the Hellbreak Saga. Frieza and Cooler make it through. They're obviously still dead. They even have the halo on their head as well. King Cold stays back in hell. He's gonna stick with Babidi and help him. He thinks both of his sons are being a little bit too rash, but if they want to go fight right now, then whatever. The portal also remains open too. It seems Babidi caused some permanent damage, tearing this hole in between realms. And King Cold also wants to make sure that no one else takes advantage of this. This is their own thing. But once the Saiyans are dead, hey, anyone else could use it. And Frieza and Cooler realize that they need to be careful. If they die here, they're gone for good. And the two of them waste no time. They immediately begin seeking out the Saiyans. And they send some strong powers. But it isn't just the Saiyans they knew before. There's someone else there. Another really strong power close by to them. It also does feel like a Saiyan in a way. They follow this power, and they're led to the hub of the Galactic Patrol. They launch a massive blast, blowing a huge hole in the side of the ship. Everyone is sucked out into the vacuum of space. But surprisingly, a barrier appears around them, and all the Galactic Patrol soldiers are saved, including the Saiyans that were training on that ship. No one knows what's going on, and why this barrier even appeared. It was Maris. Even though he can't fight, protecting everyone is no problem with the barrier. They didn't know he could do that, but that's not the main focus right now. What was that just attacked them? The Saiyans look up and they see, not believing their eyes. It's Frieza and Cooler.
Big Frieza.
This definitely is real too, and they have the halos above their heads as well. Somehow, they came back from hell, getting one final attempt at revenge.
You know, people that keeps up with the Dragon Ball Super art is coming back, right? So I feel like if they're going to get, if Frieza, I don't know if Frieza's going to be their last arc of the show. I hope not. But if Frieza is, they got to bring back Cooler. They just have, fuck you. Because it's going to be boring if it's just Frieza. It's going to be, like, how can you make that, I mean, of course, Black Frieza is strong as hell, but if just the Saiyans versus Frieza, it's going to be like, okay, it's the third time we saw this. It'd be the third time we saw this. Fourth time, actually. So, how can you make it different? Bring back Cooler. Make Cooler canon.
They're ready to fight, but not sure what to do. They're out in the middle of space and can't really do anything. But Maris decides to help. Kakarot obviously knew his identity, but Maris reveals it to the others as well. They were hoping he could help, but he can't really do that. At least not directly. He can help indirectly. As an angel, he's forbidden to fight, but there's nothing against him helping out others. And this seems to be a battle for the Saiyans. He says he'll help get the rest of the patrol to safety, and the Saiyans suddenly are surrounded by a bunch of barriers. This is going to be a bit temporary, but this will help. He created their own atmospheres for them. After what happened against Baby, they all saw that it's going to be a big issue if they're fighting out in space. Kakarot and Broly almost did die out there because of it, but this should be a good solution, even though it won't last forever. This barrier will allow them to breathe, and they waste no time either, going out and confronting the two brothers. Frieza and Cooler are just as confused as to what happened, but that confusion disappears as the Saiyans encounter them. This is what they wanted. They reintroduce themselves, glad to see the Saiyans again. Although that large one isn't too familiar, and Broly's not too familiar with these two either. But the formalities don't really matter. They just want to get down to fighting. If that guy's a Saiyan too, then whatever, he'll just die with the other ones as well. Vegeta yells out, asking how they got back here. Frieza and Cooler say that's none of their business. Right now, all that's important is that they are back. And they're gonna finish what they started. A fight immediately breaks out. The two of them are in their final forms, with Frieza already being in his and Cooler transforming into his. If they're lucky, the battle might be as quick as doing this. And the Saiyans are surprised. They all transform into Super Saiyan. Effortlessly, in fact. This doesn't really surprise the two brothers. They kind of expected this. But these Saiyans are much stronger than before. The Saiyans even comment on this too. Frieza and Cooler are way stronger than when they were killed. And they say they haven't been sitting around doing nothing. Obviously, them being here is proof of that. But as I mentioned before, they don't want to waste any time. They've already gauged the strength of the Saiyans, and their final forms aren't going to be enough. They're going to need that brand new power that they just unlocked. Mid-battle, the Saiyans are confused. The two brothers begin glowing, surrounded by golden auras. Their energy is soaring. It's amazing. After a brilliant flash of golden light, they're revealed there now in their golden forms. A new transformation?
Oh,
That's
shit.
definitely going to be a big issue, especially with how powerful it is from what they're sensing. But with all the Saiyans together, this might not be too big of a deal. Before Frieza and Cooler launch into battle, Kakarot tells them something. Yeah, they might have gotten new transformations, but did they really expect the Saiyans to only have Super Saiyans still? Frieza asks what they mean, and Kakarot questions him. After being around Frieza for so long, Kakarot knows what Frieza knows. He has to have heard of the legend of the Super Saiyan God before, right? A Super Saiyan God? Of course not. That can't be possible. And this makes Kakarot chuckle. With a quick flash of red light, he
talk your
turns
shit,
into one.
Goku.
Frieza can't sense his ki. Cooler tries to as well, and can't get anything. And Kakarot says he's entertained by how terrified they look. But he'll admit, one Super Saiyan God isn't going to be enough to fight them. Frieza and Cooler begin laughing. Why would he say this? So he's confirming that they've already lost? Well, not exactly. They didn't let Kakarot finish. There's not just one Super Saiyan God here. There's 4 of them. Oh yeah, and if that wasn't good enough,
4 of
there's
them?
a level beyond Super Saiyan God as well. And that Broly guy over there, he might not have that form, but he has something just as great. Frieza and Cooler watch on in terror. They're blinded by a collection of brilliant blue lights and one green light. What did they get themselves into? Did they actually leave too early?
Alright, Nappa. Alright, Nappa.
There's no way their golden forms are going to be overcome this easily, right? Well, that might actually be the case.
Everybody look
Forget
cool
Super
when
Saiyans
the
and Super
camera
Saiyan
pointing at
gods.
Nappa.
Right now they're facing 4 Super Saiyan God Super Saiyans. Just the name alone says what it is. Plus, that huge green guy over there. That's terrifying as hell. The 2 of them don't care. They're still gonna fight regardless. They didn't come all this way for nothing. The great thing is, even though they are using their golden forms, they're still dead so they don't have to worry about stamina. They can keep going on for however long they like, and they won't have that problem that Frieza had in the original story. But even with that, they're facing 4 Super Saiyan Blues and Broly. I don't think I need to spell it out for you how bad that is for them. Raditz tells them they should have stayed dead. And Nappa says they're gonna just send them right back to where they came from. But actually it's not gonna be that way. Once they kill these 2, they're gonna be done for good. And even though the Saiyans are confident right now, they're still a little bit pissed off. I mean, the entire Galactic Patrol base just blew up because of Frieza and Cooler. And they almost died with the rest of the Galactic Patrol. Thankfully, Mayer saved them all. So they at least need to make up for that. A massive space battle occurs. It's so great to be able to travel around without having to worry about breathing. The Saiyans are loving this. They have so much space to fight and have so many places to maneuver to. Using space to its fullest is actually great for battle. They need to do this more often. Well, not in these circumstances, but this is fun still. Their Saiyan blood is pumping. And the best part is, they get to defeat Frieza and Cooler again. Just as quickly as the 2 brothers came back to life, they're killed. For good this time. And the Saiyans are happy. Of course, the Galactic Patrol's base is still missing. But that problem was solved pretty quickly. So, everything's okay, right? Well, not exactly. What they don't know is the fact that this was part of Babidi's plan all along. Frieza and Cooler were just a mere distraction. And ironically enough, King Cold even knew this too. Babidi's surprised that he betrayed his sons and didn't stop them. But Cold doesn't care. He believes in Babidi's cause much more. Whatever he's doing right now, that's actually going to be much more effective.
Okay.
Out in the middle of space, Mayris
King
teleports
Cold.
back in. He's glad to see that Frieza and Cooler have been defeated, but he tells the Saiyans there's still an issue. It seems Frieza and Cooler got back because there's a portal open from Hell that allowed them to escape back into the living world. And this could be a big issue because the portal is still there. It's not disappearing, and it's actually growing stronger. And what's worse, he consulted Whis. There's an ominous presence coming from it, almost like something's being made. Something is about to awaken there, and they're not too sure what it is. Besides the fact that they need to close this portal, they also need to figure out what's going on there. Alright, that sounds pretty bad. They're gonna have to stop that as quickly as possible, trying to find the source of whatever's doing this. And Mayris brings them to that portal. The issue is, whatever's causing this isn't actually near the portal. He already looked into it and it doesn't seem like anyone's nearby. This is way far away and secluded. They're gonna have to manually hunt down the source and figure out whatever he's doing. Although it's gonna be risky. The Saiyans might be strong, but they gotta remember, they're going into an entirely different realm right now. It's Hell. It's pretty obvious how bad and risky that is. But obviously this is necessary. They need to do this and stop whatever's going on. In another part of Hell, Babidi's plan is almost completed. He's gathered so much energy by now, and Cold is eagerly awaiting this brand new weapon. The energy they just collected from Cooler and Frieza is coming in. They just need a little bit more time, and Babidi can finally awaken this weapon. And then they'll take over Hell, as well as all the other realms. They'll take over the entire universe, maybe even the multiverse. But they run into an issue. Of course, there's still a bunch of people in Hell that are still alive. And there's one particular group that got really mad when they heard about this.
Okay.
Of course, they're not good people. They're here for a reason after all. But hearing Frieza and Cooler were up to something didn't sit right with them. And they're pissed off. They're already too late. But still, King Cold is here. Over the horizon, a massive army appears. Babidi wonders who those people are, and King Cold smirks. He should have expected this. Of course, the people that would try to rebel against them are Saiyans. An entire undead Saiyan army comes up towards them. They may not be strong enough, but they can at least try and stop
King
it.
Vegeta?
They're dead if they don't. At the forefront of it is King Vegeta, finally standing up to King Cold once and for all. The Saiyans died by their hands once. They're not going to die again to this. But King Cold's attention is diverted. Out of the army of the Saiyans, he senses a really strong power. A familiar figure steps up to the front. Tied to that power is a very familiar face. Wait, there's no way. The person standing there, it's Kakarot. When did Kakarot die? He thought he was in the living world. But it isn't Kakarot. But it is someone related to him. Frieza may have taken Kakarot for himself, but he was never truly Kakarot's father, and Kakarot's rebellion shows that. He's already heard stories about this, and it's been made personal for him. This is Bardock. The fact that Frieza was the one to find his son and raise him to be evil, of course he figured that out eventually. And he is furious. The Saiyans all rush King Cold, ready to kill him and Babidi, but King Cold says he'll be fine holding them all off. He'll protect Babidi and the weapon. But they're surprised. They feel another energy behind them. A couple other powers are coming closer and closer to them. They're far away, but because of the battle between the Saiyans and King Cold, Kakarot's group is slowly catching up. They see where the portal's being generated, and they can sense the weapon nearby. Babidi just needs a little bit more time. It can't end like this. On one side, the Saiyan army is advancing towards him, being held off solely by King Cold. On the other side, the Saiyan Galactic Patrolmen are coming towards him. If they all converge together, that'll be the end of them. But amidst all the chaos, something weird begins happening. It feels as the entire realm of hell vibrates. Everything around them, it's inverted for a second, and a massive wave of ominous energy explodes out from where Babidi is. Babidi turns around behind him. It's finally done. His weapon, it's been charged up.
Let me see
It's
this
awakened.
weapon, bruh.
King Cold laughs. Finally, this power. He's glad to finally meet this weapon. A creature has been created. King Cold walks up towards him. And this creature, it makes eye contact with King Cold, and King Cold immediately freezes up. He's then suddenly disintegrated. The creature phases right through him, and he turns over towards the Saiyan army. They have a clear view of him right now. This creature is chuckling. Babidi's a bit terrified, but also, he's happy. No, that doesn't explain it. He's elated. This is what he's always wanted. This is so much better than Majin Buu. He floats up above the Saiyan army. He introduces them. This is his greatest creation yet. Janemba. Janemba's face contorts into a smile. And this is where we'll leave off for now. So, what do you guys think about this part?
I forgot about Janemba. I didn't even think about Janemba. Alright. They are in hell. I forgot about that. Oh, God damn it. That was a good one. That was a good one, Salad. I like that one. Alright, so the next one will be the finale, of course. So make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and let me know how y'all feel about this video down below. Check out the last chapter right here. Check out another video right here, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.